Good evening, everyone. This is Robert. RJL Network presents an unboxing, something I don't do often. Most games that I usually get are, that I usually get are, regular sports games and things like that. Um, so I decided to do an unboxing tonight due to here. And I can tell you right now, it is a nasty, dreary day here in South Florida. It's been wet, it's been raining, it's been absolutely awful, and it has not been pretty. And it looks like, and I don't know, maybe it's here, full contact chess. Are you kidding me? Midlife crisis. I have played spectacular full contact chess. Okay. Full contact chess is the best. If you've never tried it, you should. Just be careful when your queen takes your pawn. That can hurt a little bit. So if you know what I mean. So I normally, like I said, don't do many unboxings, but the reason why I'm doing this is a bit of a special unboxing because this game here I've been waiting for pretty much for about 3 years. It took about 3 years for the guy, I've been kind of, for 3 years. I've been waiting for this for a while. Sorry, can't feel bad for your WH. What do you mean there, Brian? Can't feel bad for your what? I don't know. I hope everybody, I don't know if you guys are buffering or anything like that. My clock on my screen's moving a little bit on the wacky side. So is everybody getting weather? It's been for the weather. Okay. Is everybody seeing everything clearly? No problems, I hope. Okay. Buffering or anything like that. Yeah, the weather is horrible. I mean, it is bad. Okay. If you take a look at the map, if you were to put the map of the United States right now up, you would not see the state of Florida, because right now Florida is under a big blob, and I do mean a big blob. We have a stationary front that decided to be, well, stationary and sit right on our butt. So right now, I went to work in the rain today, and I came home in the rain today, and it did not stop. But enough about the weather. So as I said, this is a game I've been waiting for about 3 years, and I can tell you right now, it is not a sports game. It's a war game. So I know a lot of you are not into my war game setup here, but this is a war game that I've been waiting for the last few years for the company that was doing it to finish it off. It's actually an updated version of a couple of games they did. And I was going to purchase those couple of games, and they were also going to release a couple of new expansions, but they decided to put those expansions into one game. There's already an unboxing of this by someone else on YouTube, but I thought I would do one because this is a game I've been waiting for 3 years in the making. So with that in mind, I thought I'd go ahead and let you take a look at this unboxing. And as I said, this is a war game. It is not a sports game. So no, it's not History Maker Baseball or anything like that or whatever. This is a war game. So, now I'm buffering. Yeah, I figured I was. I figured I was buffering because of the weather down here. So this is, as I said, a game. No, it's not Warfighter Fantasy. I have actually Warfighter, believe it or not. No, it's not. Oh, come on. Mattel's Carrier Strike was awesome. Don't make fun of that game. That game was great. Carrier Strike was amazing. Come on. God, MLC, really, you're really hurting my feelings here. This actually comes from Decision Games. Now, ID Jester, of course, is the wargaming expert. I am not. I know you loved that game. I know, so did I. And but as I said, ID Jester is the expert, is the expert when it comes to wargaming. Now, I don't know if he ordered this. I probably didn't. So when I show him it, he'll probably won't believe it's actually available. So let's have a look and see. And It's Kurt Berglund here to make sure this is done right. I hope so. I hope Kurt doesn't get mad at me by doing an unboxing here. This game comes from Decision Games, okay, and this comes from Decision Games, which Decision Games is the maker of pretty much of two of the biggest war games ever made, and two of the biggest war games ever made: War in Europe and War in the Pacific. Two total absolute monsters of World War II. And I don't have them, and I'm not going to get them because there's no way I can play them. I have no spot for it. But I thought I'd go ahead and introduce it here. So, and let's see here. Steeler fan joined us. Good to see him. And I'm going to tell you right now, yes, Brian Patterson did get it right. So introducing to you, and this thing is big and it's heavy. Well, let's do it there this way here. It's big, it's heavy. It's impossible to get out. Axis Empires Ultimate Edition. Axis Empires Ultimate Edition. Now, there were two versions of Axis Empires originally made by Decision Games. One was Totaler Krieg, and the other one is Die Senso. Totaler Krieg was the war in Europe, and Die Senso was the war in the Pacific. And I was going to purchase those two games about a few years ago when I found out that they were going to release a module called Schiffskrieg, which was a naval module specifically designed to bring naval action into the war. So the original Axis Empires, okay. And yes, and ID Jester said, looks interesting. Yes, I finally beat ID Jester to a war game that I know for a fact he don't have. So, so they released these two games, and they also released Schiffskrieg and a module called Days of Decision. And they were supposed to release those two modules as expansion to the original Totaler Krieg and Die Senso. But they decided to go ahead and not release them and completely revamp the entire Axis Empires system. So now everything is in this one very big, thick-ass box. Yeah. And the thing weighs about 10 pounds. And as I said, there's already an unboxing of this on the internet, but I'll just do my own quick one here. And it is kind of like, it's Grand Strategic there, Jester. This is a Grand Strategic. Okay, it is card driven, all right, but it has massive replayability, and it has a lot of counters, lots of a good amount of rules, but the rules are simple. It can be done. It is core and army level. You can do it solitaire. Solitaire is possible. Okay, and you can pretty much do anything with this game. In a way, I'll tell you the truth, Axis Empires is kind of like a Hearts of Iron in a board. Hearts of Iron in a board version, almost. Hearts of Iron is, which I love playing. I play Hearts of Iron a lot. Hearts of Iron 4 and all that. That game is really detailed as a sandbox. This is a sandbox, but it can be a little less sandboxy compared to World in Flames or compared to a World at War, which I also have. I also have World in Flames, but the PC version, I don't have the board game version. That's out of print right now. But the big main strategy, the big main games, okay, for this right now was World in Flames and a World at War from GMT, which I do like a World at War, but they get so intricate into the supply and all that. It just takes too long. This is a little bit easier. It's a little bit faster and such. So it is a It is huge. This game has been in works for about when they introduced this game in 2020, and every year I always look back to see if it was being done, was it being finished, and it finally just got released it only this month in November. It took them 3 years to really flesh this game out, and it's beautiful. If you're a I'll read the back here. If you're a diehard World War II Grognard, then Axis Empire's Ultimate Edition is a game for you. It's the final evolution of our popular series of strategic games on the global struggles of 1937 and 1945. Now, ID Jester, of course, is aware of Decision Games' War in Europe and War in the Pacific, the two major beasts of World War II, okay, which practically it's not unplayable. You just got to have an entire floor to play it on. Inside this box are the newest editions of both Total Krieg and Dai Senso. TK covers the war in Europe, while DS does the same for Asia and Pacific. Each game is individually playable as a standalone event, or players can combine the two to cover all of World War II. Both TK and DS have been thoroughly updated and play tested for historicity. I can't talk today. Game balance and ease of play. The maps, encounters, and cards have been given a refreshing makeover to improve the look and feel of the game. Many new counters and 200 cards have been added to allow for more options. But there's more. This package also includes Schiffskrieg, the long-awaited air and naval optional expansion for the AE system. It's optional. You don't have to use it. For those who want more detail in handling air naval operations, SK adds individual capital ships down to the heavy cruiser level and air wings to sortie and fight with. Plus, there's Dice of Decision 2, an expanded random campaign generator players can use to create endlessly fascinating alternate history situations for their AE games. What if Germany had won the Great War, or the Tsar still ruled over Russia, or the 1922 Washington Naval Treaty failed to prevent a shipbuilding arms race, or Japan's 1931 invasion of Manchuria had unfolded differently, or an aggressive France had chosen to occupy the Rhineland in 1937. All these possibilities and many more await your discovery with DoD. Further options include AE includes Fortunes of War, random event cards, the possibility of a separate peace war between the West and Soviet Russia after 1945, new scenarios, and much more. Infinitely replayable, completely expandable, and always enjoyable. Axis Empires is the ultimate desert island, World War II sandbox game you've been looking for. So, and you'll have yes, Absolute Victory by Compass is also very well. Yeah, the maps. The only problem with that is the map. I looked at the map. The map at Absolute Victory is way too busy. I could not get it. 4 large map sheets, 20 map variant overlay sheets, 2,400 counters, 3 6-sided dice, 5 rules booklets, 500 playing cards, 7 decks, 30 player A sheets, and it do get storage bags. So that's what we got here. Now that you've seen the outside of the box, I guess we take a look at the inside of the box, shall we? So let's have a look at this thing. I already know what's inside it. I watched the entire unboxing video from the guy that did it as well. But so I already know what's in it, but he did not show certain things where I actually want to see. So since the reason why I wanted ID Gesture to see this is because he is the war gamer. You are the war gamer there, ID Gesture. So I figured this would be for you because if you were interested in, you can get it. It is not cheap. This was not a cheap game. This was expensive. All right. This is an expensive game. And, it's a lot of money to pay for cardboard and paper, pretty much. All right, but it was not a cheap game, but it's there. You got it there, Midlife Crisis. So let's open it up. Good thick box, strong box. It'll protect it pretty well. It's so wrapped up. They went ahead and they even wrapped up the rule books. The rule books are wrapped up. So you got the rule books here, the modules, The counters are nice. I don't know about you, but the counters are very nice. They're very readable. Um, Counters are very nice. Nice color on the counters for the front and the back. Back looks very easy. I know that Jester is usually a proponent of rounding off the counters. If you do get this Jester, I do not recommend it because there are sections in the counter, on the counter, like with dots and all that stuff. Okay, you may not want to round these off. You may want to keep them as they are. All right. Here's the components list. And lots of stuff here. Geez. They give you storage bags. Lots of storage bags. I got plenty myself, and 3d6 dice. Look at these look at these cards. And these cards should probably fit into my sleeve. These are poker size cards, so these will fit into the same sleeves I use for Marvel Champions or Arkham Horror or Lord of the Rings. They're all sealed up. Got Western Allies for a certain section. So you have Western Allies for Daisenso if you want to play Japan, the Japanese version. You got Axis for Daisenso. Soviets for Total Krieg, the German the European theater. Lots of that. And here in this pack, you got overlays. Now, you see all these little map overlays and such. This is if you play Days of Decision. So what happens if you play Days of Decision and it's a little different, okay, if the game sets up a little differently, you can just put these one of these map overlays onto the main map, okay, and just play with it on that. So it's, like I said, it's very customizable, and you can, and instead of playing and you can start in 1939, 19 whatever, but or 1941, whatever, but usually to play the actual thing, you're really supposed to start. If you use Days of Decision, you go back to 1918, to the end of World War I, and move your way forward, which is pretty quick. Or you can start in 1937, Japan invading China, which a lot of people say is the real start of World War II. But of course, the official start of World War II is September 1st, 1939, when Germany invades Poland. I consider the Spanish Civil War the prologue to World War II, including with the Japanese invasion of China. And the maps, I'm pretty sure, are all underneath this. So, all right. So now let's go ahead and let's take a look at this stuff. Seeing everything all sealed up is one thing. Everything all sealed up is one thing. We got to take a look at it. So let's see what we got here. So let's put everything back the way it was. Back the way it was here. And we'll start with the rules. All right. Move that to the side here. So let's start with the rule book. And I know that ID Jester is a big proponent of rules. He likes to make sure rules are fresh and clean, and make sure that they are easy to read. So let's take a look at this here. And I've been waiting I've been waiting 3 years for this game to be released, because I really wanted to get the original Daisenso and Total Krieg. But when I knew they were coming out with this, I said, you know what, Robert, let's be patient. And you know me, I have very high patience. I can always wait, because usually every time I wait, good things come. All right, let's look at this one first. All right, so they have a number of rule books, and the first one you start is with the Axis Empire's core rules. It's printed on nice. It looks on nice paper. Very. The font is very easy to read. Lots of color in the rule book, so it's not like you're reading just black and white. Lots of examples. Shows you the things here. The counters and the ground units. The core game mechanics and the sequence. How the option cards work. I've already looked through this rule book because the rule books are available as a PDF right now on the Decision Games website. And already the reviews for this game are excellent. They're calling this Decision Games' masterpiece. They're saying it's their magnum opus. And you can go ahead and play. And you have the rules determine where you're playing. So if you're playing in Europe, you're following the blue. If you're playing in Japan, Asia, using the red. Lots of markers. Not that many units. There really is more markers than there is units. But in a grand strategic, no, it does not have a 10-minute ticker option, Craig Scarborough. 10-minute ticker. You guys got inside pitch on the brain. It's not coming until for a while. So relax. But everything here is pretty clean. I mean, I have no problem reading it. It has lots of markers, but most grand strategic games do not utilize a lot of markers. It's not like, when you play, if you play a game such as, Thunder in the East by GMT or something like that, where there's a lot of counter density. There's not a lot of counter density in a game like this. It's grand strategic. And of course, I like grand strategic. Now, of course, I also like operational because I have the game Pacific War, by Mark Herman from GMT, which is still my favorite Pacific War game of all time. But I wanted something a little bigger, and I went to a World at War that's been updated a couple of times. But a World at War, all those rules and everything on production, on oil, and all that just kind of bogged me down. I want a little bit less, a little bit less depth. Instead of being in a 10-foot pool, I'd rather be in a 5-foot pool. So you'll hear the war states. Shows you, the regions. Everything is all listed here, It's all pretty clear. I mean, it's all these gray boxes are examples. So that gives you plenty of examples on how to play the game. Minor countries as well. And then you have, France and Vichy. And of course, it has optional rules as well. So you can make it as hard or as easy as you want. Now the original, the original version of Axis Empires, the naval aspect and the air aspect was totally abstracted. Now I'll tell you, I like air and naval combat. I love seeing aircraft swooping down on enemy ships. Okay, the great battle at Midway, where the United States plowed 4 Japanese carriers into the sea. The hunt for the Bismarck, the greatest battleship, at that time, had to be sunk, or British convoys would have been threatened. The hunt for the Graf Spee, the sinking of the Yamato in the East China Sea. Will there be more? See, Brian, you already know the answer to that. The great battles, the air battles, the Battle of Britain and such. So that's the core rules. Now here is the Dice of Decision module rules, which I have not seen. I've not seen this because this is not on as a PDF. But it shows you how to create one, how to start at a certain period, utilizing cards. Let me flip through it. So, it's an optional random campaign game, so you can play at any time during, before World War II and then go from there. The rule. Look, I mean, the rule book. The rule book is so colorful. I mean, really, come on. Not many companies release a rule book that colorful. Not many. Here we are in the 21st century, and there are still some games. You know, yeah, you are done, Craig Scarborough. You are done. Um, but you know, um, no, I've not tried Carrier Battle Philippines Sea. That is something on my radar. Um, you know, but I mean, it's very. I mean, it's in the what do you call it? It's in the 21st century. You can still, if you get a copy of A World at War from GMT Games, the rule book is black and white. It's just boring. The rule book is black and white. It's not really pretty. I mean, it's got all the rules you need, but it's boring. But there's so many. I'm not saying the game is. A World at War is not boring, but the rule book is. But this rule book makes you want to actually sit down, maybe in the bathroom, okay, and read through it. All right, let's open up this one here. So now the thing about it, as I said, Axis Empires, Block Dragon, yeah, Axis Empires, okay, came, as I said, everything was kind of abstracted, okay, for air and naval actions. So they created the Schiff's Krieg module. Now, the original, they were supposed to release this as an expansion. Okay, Schiff's Krieg and the Days of Days of Decision. They were supposed to release these as expansions to the original Axis Empires, Total Krieg and Daisenso, but they decided instead to revamp it, update it, balance it, and release it now as one big set. And that's why it took so. And that's why it took so long, to release it. So let's see, there it is. So that's why it took so long, to release it. So they took some time with it, and it took them about 3 years. Actually, longer than that. I think they were working on it since 2019. Now, Schiff's Krieg. Well, before we get to that, Schiff's Krieg. The thing about Schiff's Krieg is the naval and air aspects. So I mean, it has ships down to the heavy cruiser level. So all battleships, all carriers, all heavy cruisers, pretty much in World War II will be represented. No light cruisers, no destroyers, no submarines or anything like that. And if you want to play with something like that, I recommend Pacific War, which I do have, and I love Pacific War. So, it's always good to play that, if you like it, to get down that level. Because Pacific War is, I still say, one of the greatest. Probably, I still say that's the greatest Pacific War game ever made. But pretty much, according to what I've read in the Schiff's Krieg module, this is kind of based loosely on Avalon Hill's Victory in the Pacific. Now, how many people here played that all those years ago? The original Victory in the Pacific and/or / War at Sea by Avalon Hill. Did anybody ever play that? Did anybody ever play Victory in the Pacific or War at Sea from the old Avalon Hill? Yes, I digest. You played it years ago. That is what this module is kind of considered. So if you played Victory at Sea, Victory in the Pacific, or War at Sea, Schiff's Krieg is a lot like it, and it even includes complete examples. Like here's a Battle of Midway example. Commerce rating, like the hunt for the commerce rating, like the hunt for the Graf Spee. And base attacks like the raid on Taranto, and it includes all the political events, additional rules lookup, and you don't have to use this. You don't have to play Axis Empires with the Schiff's Krieg, but everyone that has said to me that once they use the Schiffskrieg, okay, in either map, okay, they say they can't go back to without. They can't say they can go back to they say they can't go back to playing without it. And you have optional rules, and of course it has actual different setups. So if you want to play a different map, it will have the setups where you put the ships on there and such. Yeah, Admiral's War. That's right, which is the updated version of Victory in the Pacific and War at Sea. Admiral's War. But the only thing about Admiral's War, I found out, I don't think you can play. I think Admiral's War you can only play both. I haven't found rules that can only play one theater. Sometimes I'm not in the mood for the Pacific theater. I may want to play just the Battle of the Atlantic, or either way. And of course, I don't have much space here, but either way. But all the setups, all the setups, all where the ships go and such, and even covers the module designer's notes. Good reading. Now, as I said, the Axis Empires does have the Ultimate Edition core rules. So you have to know the core rules in order to play. But however, they decided to create 2 different rule books for each map. So if you just want to go ahead and play the war against Germany, Totaler Krieg is what you use. You use this rule book. You use this rule book here. The political events, the partisan bases, what happens in Pacific, and in the back of it, you will have the scenarios. There are training scenarios. You have case, and of course, every war in Europe game, of course, should have Case White, the invasion of Poland, as a training scenario. Okay, and then of course you have Barbarossa, the German invasion of Russia, which is something I really want to play on this. I want to play that quickly. I would like to really want to play that. They have the fall of France, and then you can play on 1 map or 2 maps. So if you want to just play the war between Germany and Russia, you could just play Fire in the East. So you'll only use 1/2 of the European map. Or if you want to play the Crusade in Europe, which is when the Western Allies land, which includes the soft underbelly. So it also includes the attack on Italy, going through Italy, Sicily, Salerno, Anzio, D-Day, of course, the hedgerow, the war through the hedgerows, Bulge, all of that. You can play that. And then, of course, you have the 2 map games where you put both maps together. And you can start in 1937 if you want, or you want to go straight to 1939, or they have Peace in Our Time with the Munich Crisis. They have a number of different scenarios, and I know they'll have more scenarios. I'm pretty sure they'll release more scenarios in the future. I'm pretty sure designers will come out with some scenarios. So maybe they'll come out with a Battle of the Bulge scenario, or maybe they'll come out with a maybe a Greece or something like that. North Africa is in there, yes, but there is no straight North Africa scenario, Brian. There isn't. The North Africa section of the map is kind of small. It's kind of small, but it is important, obviously, because if you're Germany, you must do damage in North Africa. But there is no North Africa scenario. But there is no North Africa scenario by itself. And I'm probably sure for now, but maybe somebody will release one. I'm pretty sure you could probably create a North Africa scenario from 1940 to 1943, but the map only includes the top half of North Africa. It doesn't include like this deeper, when Italy was getting its butt kicked early in late 1940 and 1941 before Hitler decided to send the Africa Corps over there and try to save Mussolini's butt. The setups are pretty explicit, tells you exactly where everything goes, what's in the force pools, special rules and such, players' notes in the card order. So that's the war in Europe. And then you go to Dai Senso, which is the war in Pacific. And the war in the Pacific, of course, against Japan. And they only have one training scenario for the war for here, but it is Tora. It's really the first 6 months of the war, which will probably go by pretty quick. Which is, Japan going ahead and conquering everything for the time being with victory disease and getting through everything. All right. If I was actually to start here, I would probably start. You could start at the start of the war in Pacific, or start with China if you want. I'd probably start in 1942, where Japan has already done its conquering, and just take the United States and just start seeing if you can eliminate them, do the damage. Remember though, guys, in a war game, okay, in a war game like this, not like Axis and Allies or anything like that, which of course I love to death because I have Axis and Allies, but in a war game like this, remember it's very difficult for the Axis to win. All right, it's very difficult for the Axis to win. Even Mark Herman in Pacific War states it is very highly unlikely for the Japanese to win the strategic scenario. Okay, what you're trying to do is you're trying to prevent, okay, the Allies from achieving their objectives. If you do that, then you win. All right, same goes for this system as well. But there are ways to win, of course, for the Axis. And all the player notes and players' notes and everything. There's good reading here. There's lots of reading here. Lots of bathroom reading for me. All right, so there's the rule books. There's the rule books. Now let's take a look at the components. Let's look at the cards here. Let's see. I'm like a kid in a candy store actually opening this up. Yep, Craig Scarborough said it 100%. Is there anything better than bathroom reading? No. Nothing beats bathroom reading. Nothing taking in the old days before we had cell phones, who took a magazine to the bathroom? Or if there was no magazine, how many people opened up somebody's cabinet underneath the sink and read the ingredients on the aerosol cans? Don't tell me none of you ever did it, because I know you did. Something to read while you're taking a dump. I don't want to hear it. Everybody's done that. When there's nothing to read in the bathroom, you got to find something. You can't just stare at the wall. All right, let's see here. Very nice card stock. Very nice card stock. You guys are sickos. Oh my God, you need new friends. Support unit and convoy marker player aid cards. A lot of player aid cards here. They actually show you how to build the Axis, you're a get in and get out kind of buy. Going bathroom is necessary waste of time. Brian, you don't know what you're missing when you don't just sit on the toilet and take a dump and read. You don't know what you're missing. Well, you know what? This is so fresh. There's actually coding on these. So it shows you how to build the decks, the deck building chart for Total of Krieg. And then, of course, these are the charts for like Days of Decision, where you can start, at the Great War. Very nice. Very easy to read. Understanding, of course, is different, but very easy to read. So on one side is Total of Krieg. The other side is Dai Senso for the deck building charts. So you don't have to have separate ones for that. You took magazines in the bathroom, but there wasn't any reading going on. You get two of those for that. All right, sicko. All right, so You know, so you have all of these here. Outcome checklists, probably. Here's final setups. So here's how you set up. Here's the map overlay reference. So if there's any changes to the map you got to make, okay, you utilize this you put out this card on the map and it takes the place of the actual map. Combat results table for each faction. So Axis, Soviet, Western, Axis force pool, ground units, support markers, Soviet force pool. The footprint of this game, I gather, is pretty large, like most games like this. But I don't think it's so totally, completely that large. Here's the strategic hex trackers where you can put, which hexes you control. If you get, so you already know which hexes you control here in Dicenso. I'm pretty sure they have one for. Total of Krieg as well. Somewhere in here. There's the Axis faction card for Germany, Britain, the force pools. And there's your hex factors for Total of Krieg. I can see they made a mistake already, though. There's a bit of, I can already see there's an error. This is the same what do you call it? That's the same font for Total of Krieg, but that's the same font for Dicenso. Total of Krieg's font's supposed to be like this. So I already see an error in the there's already an errata out for this. I don't know how big it is, but I already know there's errata that's going to be done because they're already said that some of the counters are kind of misprinted or something, which all war games have that problem. If you expect a war game to come out 100% perfect in its first release, forget it. You're dreaming. Schiff's Krieg battle board, fleet display. That's nice. I didn't know this had it. Shipbuilding track. It's loaded. So there's so much. There's really so much here. All right. Put that to the side. Let's look at the counter sheets. Do I really want to open these up? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Everything all wrapped up. That's nice. They go ahead and they wrap everything up. That's actually nice. It shows that they really, really, really wanted to protect. They actually said this package. They actually said they insured all of these packages. So they insured the shipping was not cheap for these either, but they insured each package to make sure nothing was damaged. All sent by UPS. So much plastic I got here. Killed a whole bunch of plastic trees, I guess. All right, let me move these off to the side real quick. That's damaged. The counter boards are nice and thick. Jester, if you're still here, you can see how thick the counter boards are. That's pretty good. The counters are nice and thick. They're not flimsy. Kind of almost like, maybe almost like DVG counters. But it's pretty thick. And that is, I mean, that's beautiful. Look, that's beautiful. It's almost, I mean, it really is. I mean, look at the colors. The color really jumps out at you. These are very colorful counters. They are very colorful counters. White core. Yeah, I think so. I think maybe white. No, this is gray. That's gray. It's not white core. It's a gray core. It's cardboard. It's thick cardboard. All right, there, Steeler fan. I'll catch you later, my brother. So Dicenso counters like American, Britain, Russia, of course, Germany. More Germans, Britain, a whole bunch of Russians. It's set in the division level and it's set at the corps level and the army level. There are no divisions in the game. It's all set at corps level because, as I said, it's grand strategic. If you were playing an operational games are usually at the division level. Okay, grand strategic. I know. I mentioned that you should, according to what I'm told, you should not clip these. And the reason why is because there are sections in the corner. You see here, like sections here. There's also like a number over here. Like a number here or dots. You may not want to clip them. You may not want to clip them. You may want to shave them, okay, when you pick them apart and get all the excess cardboard off. You may not want to clip them. I'm hearing from Board Game Geek that clipping may not be a good idea because there's so much information on the counters. Here's just Schiffskrieg right here. Here's all the ships. Here's all the ships for, like for Japan. I mean, Japanese ships, battleships, Fuso, Haruna, Haiai, Hyuga, Issei, Yamashiro, Nagato, Mutsu, Kongo, Kirishima, Yamato, Musashi, including an extra ship, the Tsushima, which was never built, or the Asumi. They even have a few extra ships in here as well. All down to the heavy cruisers. And the carriers Akagi, Kaga, Hiryu, Soryu, Shokaku, Zuikaku, Unyo, Hio, Taiho, Unryu, and Imagi. All right. They all include all the, everything here to the carrier. So pretty much it doesn't include light cruisers and lower. Those got to be half-inch, I think. I think these are half-inch. Yeah, those are half-inch counters there, Brian. Where Pacific War, okay, they made those 5/8" counters for Pacific War, okay, for the ships. They're all very pretty, very colorful. Very colorful. Very colorful counters. Some of the most beautiful counter. Maybe this could be the most beautiful counter set I've ever seen. This could be the most beautiful counter set I've ever seen. Very possible. Regular dice. Lots of bags. I could probably put a bunch of I probably could fit a couple of counter trays because once you remove these. So here's the cards. Take care there, Craig. What did I get, Philip? More junk. As I'm surprised ID Jester didn't say that to me. Because I always say, because every time ID Jester gets a game, I always say he got more junk. Well, I got more junk. So we'll take a look at the cards in a second. Let's have a look. So we can lift underneath here. And there's your maps. I could probably fit 2 or 3 counter trays in here easily. I wanted to be nice, unlike you. Oh, come on. All you get is junk. Junk. But some of your junk's not bad. All right, so let's see if I can get these maps out. Let's have a look at the maps. We'll look at dice and so. The map is I'll tell you right now, a lot of people are wishing these maps were mounted. You could probably go somewhere and probably mount these maps, But I can tell you right now, if they had decided to mount the maps, it would have added at least probably another 50 to 75 bucks to the price. I'm pretty sure. And it would have been close to 400 bucks. So I can understand why they didn't want to mount the maps. They did that for a price reason, to be a little cheap. But I'm pretty sure you could take these maps somewhere and get them mounted if you want to mount them. But they're not just regular paper. They are a gloss. It's not regular. It's paper, but it feels like it's smooth. It's not grainy. It's smooth paper. It's smooth paper. How can I say? Almost feels like silicone, like a silicone. You know how silicone feels? It's very smooth. You can hardly feel anything. Yeah, exactly, Brian. Easily 400 to 500 mounted maps. Okay, if they mounted them, and I could probably bring this to a print shop, and they could probably mount these maps easy. All right, if I want to do that. So probably what you're going to do is you're probably going to get this, and you're going to probably place it on plexiglass. I don't have the space, so I'll just flip this over. Vinyl, yeah, vinyl. That's probably, I guess you could say it's kind of like a vinyl feel, but very colorful. Very colorful here. Very easy to read. I can read everything on the map with no problem. No print is small enough where I can't read it. Let's look at this one. This is the other Dicenso map. Very pretty. Actually, this is Total Krieg. Very pretty. It's not too busy like World in Flames. World in Flames' map is almost, I don't know. World in Flames, that map is almost unreadable. I can't. It's too busy. World in Flames' map is way too busy. And a World at War might not be busy enough. This one here, I like the colors. I like how I like the colors. I like the print. Here's the other Dicenso map. All the convoys on station and stuff for the Schiffskrieg. There's Australia. There were already some talks on some of the reasons why some of the railroads were changed, and I think they did that for plate, because some of them were a lot of people said that Dicenso, when it was first came out, it was the Japanese would run ragged and nobody could stop them. So they had to rebalance a couple of things so that it could be more balanced. Like I said, it took a lot of play testing. I heard it took almost 5 years to make this game. And I just waited patiently and checked in once in a while. And then I finally saw it. And I finally saw, oh, it's on pre-order. I said, bang, immediately grabbed it. So here's like, here's the other side of Total Krieg. So as I said, you're probably going to want to put plexiglass underneath it. But here's what these are here, the overlays. So if you're playing Dice of Decision, and just for the heck of it, I'll just choose one, doesn't matter. But the overlays have names on them. And it shows you the front. So if you were playing a different game and you need to use an overlay, you'll probably just go ahead and put the overlay on the map, just like that or something. And that's how it would work for overlays. It may not be perfect, but still I can see it working. So that's if you want to play it. So it has overlays for different types of campaigns. I think that's pretty cool. So you're never going to play, if you're going to play a different version of the game, you'll have a different map to play on. So you'll be playing on a different map. You won't be playing on the same map. Turn track, key, terrain effects, It's beautiful. This is a beautiful game. They took their time with this. Decision games took their time. They did not waste time with this one. They wanted this to be right before they released it. All right. Does anybody care about the dice? Of course not. Anybody care about the bags? Of course not. Let's look at the cards. What the guy didn't do is that he did not, he did an unboxing, but he did not look at the set the cards. Now, there's like one of the cards here, but let's open a set. Let's look at these. He didn't want to open a set of cards. I will. Be very careful. I don't want to cut it. These are sealed up tight. There we go. Let's have a look. Was it Art Wolf's unboxing? No, it was some guy, I think by the name of Hodges. It was not Art Wolf. I don't think he's done an unboxing video yet. If he did, I haven't found it. I don't think it was Art. It wasn't Art Wolf. It was some guy named Hodges. Stephen Hodges, I think it is. I think Stephen Hodges is his name. He did the first unboxing, and mine was already on the way before I even before anything. All right, so here are the Axis cards. Here are the Axis cards for the European theater for Total of Krieg. Card quality is nice. Very colorful. Each one has its own Axis Empire's number, or variation, what segment is in. And let's see here. Here's one of my sleeves for, let's see if this will fit in that. Like a glove. These are the same sleeves I use for, Marvel Champions. Stephen Dolges. There you go. Thank you there, Brian. That's who it was. Sleeve them up. There's 500 cards here total, so you'd need like 500 sleeves, which I happen to have enough. I do. And these aren't shuffled, though. You don't shuffle these. These are not shuffled cards. Okay, you don't shuffle them up and see what happens. These are placed in a certain order, and when it comes to the card, and you pick a card, and for lack of a better description, how this works, you come up with a certain card, and then it shows you the requirements, what the card will do, depending on the other card, the replacement segments, and this is where the card becomes interesting, because you pull like a political device, a political event segment, you roll a die, and something happens, So each card is different, has its own number, has its own everything here, but it doesn't play. The game will never play this. Well, pretty much should really never play the same twice. They do say when you play the first game, you should play historically. So in other words, just like World War II went, invasion of Poland, invasion of France, that kind of thing. Let's see here. Total War production. V weapons. Walk them rein. Walk them rein. So you don't shuffle these. You don't shuffle these. These cards are not meant to be shuffled. They're meant to be used in a way to play the game. I probably will sleeve them all anyways, though, to protect them. But so there's a lot here. There's 500 cards. I'm not going to open all of them, but I just wanted to open up a set to show you, see what they would look like. Type 21 U-boats. They have cards for Schiffskrieg as well. Go to Damarung, usually the end of the World War II. Case Blue, which is the second invasion of Russia in 1942. Festung Europa, Fortress Europa. Operation Citadel, the Battle of Kursk. Pretty sure there's one for the Ardennes, something like that. Wacht dem Rhein was actually the Battle of Ardennes, Battle of the Bulge, jet fighters. There's so much here. But as I said, these cards are not meant to be shuffled. They're meant to be used in a certain order. You got sets for Western Allies for the European theater. The Russians for the European theater. And then, of course, you have the Axis for the Pacific theater, Daisenso. And you also have Western Allies specifically for Daisenso, which is cool because that means that if you want to play just a war in the Pacific, you only have to use the Pacific version cards. And even the Soviets have their own for that as well. If you want to just play the war in Europe, you play Total Krieg and you just play the war in Europe. How about a Dave Craig card? You know what? I know for a fact that you guys miss baseball demos, and his puns, but I don't know. But this may be your first block dragon you ever gotten there, SGJ Jamie. Yeah, they are nice looking cards, Jester. Fortunes of War cards. So this is kind of like a fog of war. So this is kind of this will randomly affect a few things. You can play with these or you don't have to. It's very optional to do what you want. It is expensive. When I got the game, when I ordered it pre-ordered, I think it was 240 something when I pre-ordered it. I don't know if the pre-order price is still there, but I doubt it because they've started shipping all these out. And the reviews are getting, for what it is, it's very, very good. The reviews are getting very good reviews. I mean, the card quality, strong card quality, ain't nothing wrong with that. These aren't. Let's put it this way. Jester. These are not Stratomatic quality. These are not Stratomatic quality, so we'll say that. These are much thicker, much tougher. I would say more like Fall Classic quality is what I would say. Fall Classic. Not as good as Payoff Pitch quality because those cards are thick. All right. He uses, I think, 140-pound or 150-pound gloss stock. All right. I'm going to say Fall Classic quality with these there, Jester. And definitely not inside pitch quality because inside pitch is not glossy. It's not gloss. 110-pound cardstock. It's not glossy. It's flat. So I would say more. But Fall Classic is glossy. So I would say more like Fall Classic quality there, Jester, or your triple play quality as well. Triple play baseball quality, I would say, because those are glossy cards as well. So. You got a whole bunch of decks. You got lots to play with here. This is with the Europe and Pacific. Yes, SGJ. This is Axis Empires, but this is the new version. All right. Okay, this is the new Ultimate Edition of Axis Empires. just released. Just came out only about a couple of weeks ago. I was waiting, and I've been tracking for a game I've been tracking for about maybe 3 to 4 years because I wanted to play Axis Empires. I wanted to get a copy of Total Krieg and Dai Senso, the original games, but they were going to come out with the naval aspects. But they decided, you know what, we're going to make a totally brand new game, and that's what they did. So, hey, good things come to those who wait, and I decided to wait. And instead of getting those other two, and I could see that waiting was the right thing. These are just gorgeous cards. And each card has great artwork on the front. Look at the artwork on the front. I mean, here for Axis, for Total Krieg, for the European theater, German soldier, standing guard. Let's see, Western Allies, Americans, Western Allies, including the British. It's everybody, really. It's, of course, they use the British mostly, but Western Allies, the parachute drops, simulating the parachute drop here at Normandy, probably, or either the parachute drop or at Normandy, or maybe Operation Market Garden. Probably that was, I don't know where that artwork is from, but that could be the dropping of Pegasus Bridge before D-Day, or that could be Operation Market Garden, the 82nd Airborne Division, landing, trying to take the bridge at Arnhem, a bridge too far. Here's your Soviets, Russians, with the Russian form in the background. I don't know where that artwork is. That could be maybe the defense. That could be the defense of Moscow, or maybe I don't know if I'm going to say Stalingrad. I don't think Stalingrad. I would say more like Moscow, probably. And then if you go to the Pacific Theater, you get different. So here's Axis. So there's the Axis cards, but this time you have a Japanese soldier on the front. Western Allies. These guys going ahead and coming ashore in an amphibious operation. That could very well be Iwo Jima, or it could be Okinawa, or maybe Leyte, or Tarawa, or Saipan, any one of the islands in the Pacific. And the Soviets, Soviets here with Stalin for Daisenso against Japan, against the Japanese. And then you have the Fortunes of War. And this looks like, that artwork looks like the sinking. That looks like the sinking of a convoy ship with the people in a rowboat. A sinking of a convoy ship, maybe in the Battle of the Atlantic, possibly. Maybe Battle of the Atlantic. I would say maybe a German U-boat probably may have sunk that. The artwork is just beautiful. They're all very strong. They feel very good to the hands too, but I'm still going to sleeve them. I'll still sleeve them, which will protect them. So I'll still sleeve each one of these cards. I'll sleeve them. But I think this is this may be the most beautiful war game I may have purchased. It's definitely the most expensive, and I'll say, and the reason why I'll say the most expensive, ID Jester. Of course, one time ID Jester said that I would never be able to pick up a copy of Avalanche Press's Leyte Gulf, Second World War at Sea. He said I would not get it. I got it, and I actually got it for cheaper than most. That copy of Leyte Gulf from actually was less than, I think I got it for less than 200. This game cost more than that, and this is new, so this game cost me more. But for 3 years of waiting, I figured, you know what, I'm going to shell out the dough. I'll throw it on credit card, and I'll go ahead and pick up a copy of it. Well, guys, that's your unboxing. That is your unboxing for Axis Empires. So if you get a copy of it, it comes with 5 rule books. So you're going to want to start with the core rules. You want to read these, and then maybe you want to probably start with Total Krieg and maybe play with the training scenario, which is what I actually asked already. That guy, what is it, Stephen Dolges, Brian? I actually asked him, could you please do a playthrough of at least Case White? I would like to see somebody play this before I try to put it on the table. I don't know how I'm going to get this on this table. I can't. Somehow or other, I'm going to have to play. If I'm going to try to stream this stuff, I have got to get a camera and hold it over my bed. That's the only place where these maps will fit. But maybe I can do Case White because it only needs Poland, for the German invasion of Poland. But I asked already him, could you please do at least that, or if anything, maybe do a playthrough of Barbarossa, the German invasion of Russia, which is always a big time, and which is one of the biggest events, of course, of World War II. So you can go ahead, get a piece of wood to prop on top of the table. Yeah, something like that. But if you want to play Axis Empires, you read the core rules. Then if you want to play Totaler Krieg, the German version, you go ahead and the German European Theater of Operation, you do this book. If you want to play the Pacific Theater, you play Daisenso, the Pacific Theater. And then what you want to do, if you want to add the air and naval operation to the game, you're going to go ahead and use Schiffskrieg, which is the air and naval operations. Which, as I said, I've already heard people say, as they played a short game utilizing the Schiffskrieg, and they said they will not play without it now. They said it makes the air phases and the naval phases a lot more fun to play. And then, of course, if you want to start somewhere else other than World War II, you play Dice of Decision, or it's a Dice of Decision 2, and you can play at certain area times, a different time period, different effects, and all that. Really, there is so much. It'll take me a long time. If you guys are asking me when I would get this game to a table, or at least try to stream, it'll be some time. I doubt I'll get it here in this off season, but maybe because I gotta do things on my own. I gotta play offline to first see what I'm doing. But maybe maybe play in maybe the next off season after I'm done with 1972 of Inside Pitch, that kind of thing. 1972 Inside. After I'm done with 1972 Inside Pitch, maybe I'll try to get a game. And after that off season, I have other stuff I do want to get in the table here soon. I want to do more Marvel Champions. I got some other stuff too. I'll surprise you guys with too. So well, I want to thank everybody that joined in. Brian Patterson, SGJ Jamie, of course, ID Jester. I'm actually very honored you joined in. I really wanted you to see this, Jester, because you're the war gamer of our main hobby. Besides, of course, Tony's board life, and Rough Swordsman War Gamer. And I'm pretty sure Ruff is aware of this game. If he's not, make it. If Ruff is not aware of this game, please go ahead and make him aware of it. He may want to take a closer look, because you guys just collect war games and you want to play, and that's awesome. And of course, Craig Scarborough, Steeler fan. Of course, joins in here Philip Reynolds, Jeremy Brooks, Midlife Crisis, Jack Dawson, Sports Time Machine, Utah Mike. And I hope I got everybody there, and I think I got everyone. I hope so. Yeah. So, all right. So that's my unboxing for Axis Empires Ultimate Edition. Please leave a like on your way out of the movie theater, I guess, since it's, movie theater. Subscribe if you've not done so, and make sure you hit the dang bell. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Next time. Axis Empires Ultimate Edition available from Decision Games now. Take a good look at it, and if it's something you may want to try, give it a shot. Catch you guys later.